Well, hello, you beautiful night creature. This is Overfoolish, my channel, and today we're gonna restart a genre that we leave for a little time. That is graphic novel horror games. We're gonna read some of them, we're gonna interact with them, and you can decide if you can enjoy them as a gameplay or if you want to enjoy them as a simple podcast to sleep. It's up to you guys. This is not gonna be dubbed, it's gonna be just read. And the trovables are not available, and I suggest you to do not use any sound alerts from Twitch, okay? So, today we have a game that is called My Glass Heart in Your Hand. It's gonna be an horror game, and hopefully it's gonna be good. If the music of the game, like the original music of the game, is gonna be good, then we're gonna keep that. Otherwise, I'm gonna choose one of my own, or many different of my own. Okay, guys? So, without further ado, we stop the music, and we play Your Glass Heart in My Hand. Let's see this game. It is the same author of a game that I played before that I really enjoyed, actually. Nothing too special, but it was good. Okay, it is in full screen, and let me see if I can actually capture it by the full screen. Let me see if OBS doesn't give me any problem with that, or if I have to capture it. Oh, yes, that's super big, okay. That is extremely super big. Okay. A little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, let's start this graphic novel horror adventure. Let's go. Let me check about the volumes actually. I think that the volumes are a little bit too... Oh, wait a second. Are you sure you want to quit? Yes, I want to quit because I need to set the music a little bit down that. So, let's start again. I don't think this game is gonna make problem to my PC, right? I don't know. Okay. There we go. Let's put it in full screen again. If you see me lag, it's because I started the game. This is our game from Twitch, so I mean, it's on from each, not from Twitch, and they're not properly well done 100%. So music volume a little bit lower, sound volume. There we go. No, maybe it's a little too much for you. It is just loud in my ears, I think. I think that this is okay. Okay, you let me know about the volumes, okay, guys? If you want to change them. Let's go. As usual, guys, live like this, stand for 1 hour and 1 hour only, okay? You are fast asleep. You are drifting through the darkness and seemingly endless abyss from which there is no escape. The darkness shrouds you from all sides. It lays on your supine body, thick and heavy, like a mantle, pressing down upon your lids until it threatens to dislodge the eyes which lay behind them. You are lost in a deep, dreamless sea, a sailor tossed among the towering ocean waves. The darkness is more unforgiving, however, than any waves, for it does not undulate. It is there eternally, perpetually, an immovable, unshifting constant. The darkness is in your ears. It stops up your nose. It would fill your mouth too. If you dare to open it, it would choke you like so much dirt poured into the gaping hole of an open grave. The darkness drowns you, it buries you, it consumes you. There is nothing but the darkness, leagues and fathoms and feet of it. But you were a person once. You know, before you found yourself in this sorry state, you had a name. Perhaps you had several names, and thought of your own feelings too. You had friends, a family, perhaps. You had a life. You might have had many lives. You are one, yet you are many, fragmented. Your past dances behind your eyelids like shards of glass, sharp to the touch, and yet. Will you reach out to touch these broken bits and pieces of your past? Do you dare? Oh, I have to choose. Okay, so I think this is the first choice is gonna be the type of narrative that we're gonna have. We're gonna have these three characters. I don't know if this is us in different lives or if it is the type of character that we are actually gonna meet in our story. So perhaps we start from the very beginning. You continue to drift in the darkness. It submerges you like a tar, like oil. There is something oddly reassuring about the darkness, something soothing. Die, my lady? But you hear a voice calling out to you through the veil of blackness which surrounds you, something which stirs memories deep within you. You recognize that voice. You are sure you know them, though you can't put a name or face on them, not just yet, at least. Excuse me, my lady. And this realization is like a flickering candle, one which soon turns into a burning beacon. You might not remember who you are, but perhaps this person will. Perhaps they can give you a name, an identity to latch onto, and in so doing, they can save you from the darkness. My lady, it's time to wake up. You don't know, no, you suddenly realize like the darkness very much. It no longer feels as reassuring as it did. It has ceased to be comforting cradle song, and instead it has become something stiffingly oppressive. You fight against it, your eyes wide, frightened, like a startled pony, and then the light which rushed forward to meet you is sharp and spiky, and it lacerates your eyes, penetrating them like pins. Your head spins for a few moments. You feel sick. Your whole body aches. Oh, my lady, my poor dear lady, are you still feeling ill? But you feel a hand upon the small of your back, messaging you through the fabric of your nightgown. It is a broad white palm, flat and reassuring, and fills you with warmth. You exhale, trying to gather your bearings. Slowly you breathe in, and just as slowly you breathe out. You blink, disturbing the gauzy white spot which have begun to drift, jellyfish-like across your vision. Then you glance about. You felt dazed and disoriented upon your waking, but now you have awoken from your deep, dreamless sleep. Something like familiarity begins to settle upon you. You are sitting in a grand four-poster bed, one with pale blue sheets and pale blue drapes. Your bed is piled high with soft plush pillows, and your favorite bear is sitting beside you, a large furry creature you call Percy. Yes, that's right, you remember Percy, and you remember this room too. You remember the cream walls, the landscape in their gilt frame, your vanity table with the circular mirror and the little perfume bottles arranged upon the counter, and your favorite wide, brimmed sun hat with the length of a satin ribbon tied about it. You remember where you are, and perhaps more importantly, you remember who you are. You are a young lady of some Renevue whose family possessed a considerable fortune. Well, of course, you are a young lady. There is nothing else you could be really, awaking in a fine room like this. You are a lady, Not quite a princess, but definitely not a pauper, and the woman sitting beside you. Oh, she's beautiful. She's the maid, I suppose. Are you alright, my lady? Is your head still causing you pain? I'm here, you know, if you need me for anything, and I have brought your breakfast up, too. Perhaps that might help? She is your maid. Her hair is dark, and it is tied back in a sensible braid. Her eyes, meanwhile, are dark, large, and liquid, and lined with long, doll-like lashes. A small smile plays about your maid face, almost motherly, and she say, "Would you care for a cup of tea?" You blink, still a little groggy. You have come to your senses, more or less. What in the world were you dreaming about? You can quite remember, but you are sure it was disturbing. But you still feel somewhat disoriented. Oh, she's so beautiful. You know your maid as well as you know the backs of your own hands, your ashen face which reflect back at your mirror. You have been close for many years, ever since you were children. She has been working here for that tender age of 12, when she first started as a scullery maid, better to say. You are 4 eyes, your maid juniors, and you can recall coming across her in the corridors when you were a little girl, catching her eyes in the garden while she was engaged in hanging up the laundry, so she began to giggle. You liked the look of your maid, with her brown hair and her bright, easy smile, and you knew for the first that you wanted her. You wanted to make her yours, and so you did. When you were a little older, old enough to require a lady maid rather than a nurse, you asked your parents if they would let you make your maid officially yours. You had never asked your parents for anything before. You had drummed into your head that you had to be good girl, demure and mealy-mouthed and virtuous. They told you not to want things, not in a deep emotional sense at least. Ladies can be as selfish and avaricious and capricious as they pleased. They can lust after beautiful dress and beautiful jewels, and finally furnished homes. But other people? That is one thing a lady cannot desire. Ladies cannot be seen to yearn. To yearn is to be weak. And your parents have always been so strong, so self-sure. You feared that your parents would castigate you for you wanting the maid so, for wanting to make her yours. But to your surprise, your parents did not scold you for your impetuous request. You thought that your desire would be obvious, stamped across your face, but your parents did not seem to see in that way. They, with their dark and unfeeling eyes, did not see your maid as being so very dissimilar from a beautiful dress or from a beautiful brooch. They thought of her not as their own person, but as an object, something which could be bettered and traded. They did not imagine that you asked for your maid exclusive attention because you yearned for her, but because you simply, selfishly, wanted her, which are two very different things. Your parents could not fathom how much you care for your maid, how much you care for her still. Now she is in your everything. She is not just your lady maid, though that is her official title. She is your best friend, your closest confidant, the one you love more than anybody in the world. It would not be exaggeration to say that you adore her. You love her as intimately as it's possible for a woman to love another woman. perhaps even more intimately than is thought strictly possible. Okay, so we have feelings. Okay, we have gay feelings, lesbian feelings, or something like that. I mean, it could be romantic, platonic. You might be the lady, she your maid, but sometimes... My lady, are you alright? Sometimes, when you look at her, you wonder whether she is not the one holding all of the cards after all. Did she catch your eye on purpose all of those years ago, so that you might be carved out from the rest, so that you would elevate her for her position as a mere scarily maid? Was this a pre-planned? Have you been dancing all of this time in the palm of her hand? There are many things that you wonder, your past distorting like a kaleidoscope, but... Are you still feverish? Your face does look rather flushed. Perhaps you are in the mood for tea right now. But no, you're telling yourself firmly that you are being silly. You are certain that your maid has not ulterior motives, and even if she does, why does it matter? It doesn't change how much you care for her, and it does not change that she remains your only ally. She is the only one in the miserable pie you call a home who smiles at you. She is your dearest friend, and you do not want to make her worry. She has done nothing to deserve it. You smile at your maid and tell her that you had a bad dream. You do not feel like yourself, but a nice cup of tea might help. But of course, I've already prepared the tea for you, my lady. I think it ought to have cooled it down plenty, but just in case. Your maid plucks a delicate teacup from its source, which has resting on a tray, then brings it to her lips. Softly, she blows upon it. She meniscus of the tea rippling for her warm breath. There is something that's sensual about the way she blows up on your tea, something which makes your stomachs flutter. But the moment soon passes. Your maid hands your cup of tea to you with a light and lilting. Careful now, it's cooled a little, but it's still hot enough. You wouldn't want you to scalding yourself. You thank your maid for her thoughtfulness, and bring the teacup to your own lips. You do not need to blow up on the tea within yourself, not when your maid has completed this ritual of your behalf. The tea is not hot in any case. It is slightly warmer than lukewarm, but holding the teacup does not make your fingers tingle. You look at your undulating reflection within the brown tea for a few moments. Your lips pursed. And then under your maid's watchful gaze, you begin to sip. You let the taste of your tea unfurl across your tongue. I don't know how to say it properly. Just like the petals of a flower. Your tea is somewhat bitter, but you have heard that this is for your own good. Your maid has been buying herbal tea from the Dr. Godwin, which are supposed to fortify you, to give you strength. Dr. Goodwin is your physician, and you have seen her a few times since you fell ill. You are surprised that your parents are willing to put their faith in a lady doctor, given how awfully old-fashioned they are, but Dr. Goodwin has a sterling reputation. She does come highly recommended. But not even she has been able to aid you. You like to think that these herbs you made has been mixing into your tea are helping in some small way though. But even if they aren't, you cannot fault your maid for trying to help you. Your maid has always been your most loyal ally. If you cannot trust her, you cannot trust anybody. You sip, and your tea demurely, both of your hands pressed about the cup, while your maid smiles at you. Her smile is soft and tender, so much you could melt from it. Your maid's smile mixes, or at least it seems to, with the sun's light and it spills in through your window. And with the warm tea sloshing about inside your cup in such a way that you feel fortified. Sometimes you think that you live on only for quiet. Understand the moments like this, those spent with you and your maid. There is nobody else who makes you feel like she does, nobody in the world. She is the only one who makes you happy. And you know that you love her more than you have ever, and will ever love anybody else. Outside you can hear the birds chirping, the leaves whispering secrets to one another as they shift in the breeze. It is a beautiful morning, and it promises to segue into an even more beautiful day. Were that you could, you would rise from your bed to greet it, standing by your open window as a breeze plays through your hair. You wish to throw the covers off yourself, which lay atop you like a stifling prison, then cross your bedroom. You have always been a delicate girl, with a daintily build, yet you should be able to manage a walking handful of steps. It should not be any great ordeal, and yet... You poor thing, your maid says in a gentle voice which makes you feel small and insignificant, like some sort of pet. You still can't move, can't you? Your maid is right about that. For the last fortnight you have been assailed by the most curious illness. The illness leaves you feel weak and lethargic so much that you struggle simply to sit up in bed. You have always relied upon your maid to aid you, and you have been relying on her more than ever recently, after this illness has more or less incapacitated you. You find it hard to do much more than breathe, but at least your maid is sympathetic to your plight. She does, and then say, "I know you've not been feeling well lately, but it's all right. I'm here for you, my lady, and I'm not going go anywhere. I promise. You can rely on me. It is my job to look after you, and I meant to do that to the last until the bitter end." That is probably that she means to say, is your illness so advanced that she can see the reaper looming over you sight down? But she evidently decided that this is too grim a topic to discuss, not this early in the morning. You maid forces a smile instead and then says, "Well, never mind that. I'll be here like I said, so try not to fuss. You have no need to be lonely. Now, shall I help you dress? I know you might be able to move far from your bed, but that's no excuse for slowness. Let's get you in looking presentable. As your maid, it is my job to care for you." "Oh," your maid exclaims, if it is as only just occurred to her, "and I need to brush your hair too. It's so lovely and long, it would be a shame to leave it so tangled. I don't know what you were dreaming of last night, my lady. Were you being stalked through the woods by some southern monster?" Oh, there is a reference of another game of the same creator is called Get So Lonely here, that we have actually played. Good reference right there. "But you really were writhing a lot. You rocked up your covers, and your hair is in an awful mess." You let your maid guide you to your wardrobe, or, to be more precise, you lean on your maid as she holds you to your wardrobe. You are not so very weak that you cannot stand on your own 2 feet, but you are weak enough that you cannot stand on your own 2 feet for long before toppling. You find it hard, 2. To walk. You can only manage to shuffle, dragging your bare heels along your foot, but your maid seems pleased with your pitiful progress nonetheless. Very good, my lady. You're doing much, much better than yesterday. Does your maid really think that you do not feel any better? If anything, you feel even worse. Oh yes, I'm sure of it. You're definitely on the mend. I can see it in your face. Your cheeks are starting to get their apples again, and you no longer look so pained. We need only wait a little longer, and I am sure you will be back into your usual self once more. Then you can leave your wretched bedroom, and you might be able to take a turn in the garden once more. Does that sound nice? Your maid keep up a steady, serious chatter as she strips you of your nightgown and dresses you anew, attiring you in a rich green gown the color of the grass and apples. Newly attired, okay. You made steer you to your vanity, where she might brush out of your hair slowly and methodically, removing all the knots which snarl and snare against the brush bristle. You sit there demurely, feeling rather like an oversized doll, a bloodless being made for porcelain. Even since your sickness, your maid has been treating you like something to be coset, a beautiful object or pearlless value that is at risk of losing its worth with every bump or bruise. She treats you incredibly gently, but part of you wonders whether she is not being too gentle. If she is being too deferential, you feel the gulf in your social status more nearly than ever when she fusses over you like this, when she fastens your buttons and ties your ribbon and runs that brush through your hair. You almost wish that she would not bother so much, that she did not care so much. But if your maid did not care, who else would be left to worry about you? Your parents have not been to see you since you fell ill. Then since not care tuppence about you, but your marriage negotiations are continuing unimpeded, as if nothing has occurred. Your maid tells you that as much as she brushes your hair, pausing to tease out a particularly stubborn knot near to the right side of your scalp, you feel the bristle of the brush against the top of your head and shudder from it. Your maiden seems not to notice it as you trembled. She is not entrenched in her tale. She quicks her tongue, then says, I can hardly believe your parents did not send Lord Worthing home already. He has been here for well over a fortnight, and for what cause? You're sick. I thought your parents might send that odious lord home for at least a brief spell, so that you might recuperate, but I suppose that will be asking for too much. They refuse to give you any peace, you poor thing. While you're laughing up here in your bedroom, they are still taking a year of drowning. Your mother just can't help herself, and neither can Lord Worthing. They might fancy themselves as being elegant and refined, but I see nothing to commend in them myself. They wear their fine suits and fancy dresses, and they spray themselves in lavish perfumes, but all of this artifice cannot hope to disguise what they truly are. They are nothing. Your maid continues, her grip tightening it about the handle of your hairbrush. More than beasts. Oh, the maid doesn't like our parents because the way they treat us. I see. Beast, you ask, and then you wince. Your maid is disguised the brush through your hair with no small amount of force, and it is starting to hurt. Okay, you got personality right there. What does she mean by that? Well, what else am I to call them? They are trying to divide you up, my lady, into pieces. They sink their teeth into you, and they rip and they gouge, and they make to tear you asunder. Your mother is the worst offender. She's been determined to marry you off ever since you were a baby, but your father isn't much better. When they look at you, they don't see their own flesh and blood, a daughter they must protect, whom they have a duty to care towards. Instead, they see you as a bartering piece. They want to distribute you like an asset, to sell you off as the highest bidder, so they might increase their own social standing. They don't care about you. You may continue, their voice tightly controlled, perhaps self-consciously so. You can see your maid face reflected back at you in the dresser, inverted, so it look subtly wrong, not quite right. Your maid eyes flash like a fire and brimstone. While her jaw is tightly set, she is gritting her teeth together so hard you wonder whether the enamel will splinter. It seems a worrying apparent that, if she allows her temper to consume her, she will do herself harm. In that moment, you care not about the pain in your scalp, not how harshly your maid is dragging the comb through your curls. All you care is about your maid. You love her, and you know that she loves you. But it is because she loves you that her temper flares like this, always hidden behind the closed doors, so your parents will never see it. Your parents will never know, must never know, how excessive your maid passion are, how intense her longing. If your parents knew what your maid said about them, they would dismiss her without a second thought. They would throw her into a street by her hair, headless, of the years of her life she has given to you, headless, of how much she has sacrificed for you. They would not care. You know they would not care. Your maid might be too passionate, with feelings which blaze behind her eyes, like all the fires of hell, but your parents are uncomfortably cold by contrast. Behind their eyes, you can detect no feelings at all, no emotion, save for avarice. You wish your maid would not worry so for your sake. You fear that she is making herself ill, that she will rant and rave herself into a yearly grave. Yet you have the uncomfortable sensation, and she tries to compose herself that she is right. Your parents really are unfeeling, and so is Lord Worthing. Thinking of him is enough to make you tremble. You wish you were not expect to wed, and, if that is not negotiable, that you were not expect to wed him. You wish for so much. Cosette await in your pastel bedchamber which smell of rose water. But for all of your wishing, there is a precious little you can do. The world is very large, and you are very small. Sometimes you think that you have even less value than your maid, for at least she is paid for a service. Not well, of course, but she received money. What about you, however? You will not get paid when you read Lord Worthing, not directly at least. Your parents are the ones who will profit from you just as your maid said, as if they were selling or so at the market. Is that how your parents see you? Is that how Lord Worthing sees you? Are you really nothing more than an asset to be sold? Or if you only you were not so young and unworldly? But these wishes are pointless, just like your prayers. You do not speak of them, not even to your maid, who tells you everything about yourself, and so did I. Unspoken, your vision turns to ashes inside your heart, the cardiac muscle which seems over the years to have calcified. You wish that everything would not hurt so much. You wish. Oh, my lady, I apologize for speaking so harshly. I never did mean to upset you. You wish from time to time that the world would stop turning. You wish that life was not so complicated and that you could pass your time freely with your maid. She is the only one in the world who understands you, the only person who cares to. You never do speak of your wishes aloud. You have always thought it best not to, have always worried it would be unladylike. But when you are with your maid, it doesn't matter. She understands how you feel, even if you do not express those feelings in words. Sometimes you think that she might understand you better than you understand yourself. She sets the gift brush down with a dull thud. Did she realize that she was inadvertently causing your pain? Then leans in. She opens her arms, unfurling, then like a raven might its dark feather wings. Then shifting towards you, she pulls you to her, twining her arm about your middle like a shroud. You feel her chest pressing against your back, softening and full. Feel her breath against the nape of your neck. Her breath is warm, yet still makes you tremble. How curious. You needn't dwell on this horrible affair now. Your maid tells you, her voice soft and soothing. It is something for you to worry your precious little head over. Privately, you think that this is indeed something you ought to be worrying about. This directly pertains to you after all, and your future. You are the one who will be waiting against your will, not your maid. But her voice is saccharine sweet. As it pours inside you here, almost sickly, like a molasses, as she say. It will be all right. Don't tremble so, my lady. No matter what happened, you won't be alone. I'll never ever let it happen. I'll stay with you. I will look after you. Come what may. I will take good care of you. So don't fret. Just leave everything up to me. It will be fine, I promise. Your maid leans in a little closer. You feel the fullness of her breast against your back. Feel the warmth of her body, and then there is the soft brush of her digits. The digits is the fingers, right? I do believe. Her fingertips part you hairs, which falls down your neck about your shoulder. Okay, she is very, very private with me, okay? So she may like that in that way too. She brushes your curl to one side to better expose your nape. Then she dips her head and presses her lips to your neck in a tender kiss. Oh, so cute. You hold your maid words inside your heart, and the hours elapse at the sun in the sky. Once so round and fully and yellow, slowly begins to sink beneath the horizon. Your maid keeps your company in your bedroom for most of the day, as she often does, as she has for the last fortnight, ever since you fell ill. Whenever you find yourself fretting, thinking of your future, you remind yourself of your maid's earlier words. She said there was no need to fret. She told you to leave everything to her. She promised that everything would be all right, and you have no reason to disbelieve her. Your maid has never lied to you before, after all. Why would she be now? Well, I know you are naive, girl, but your maid is just a maid, and at those times, maid were to be considered like a servant or either object, so they can't really decide for you anything. If your family decide that you have to, marry somebody, I don't think your maid is gonna do anything that can save you. Otherly, considering her passion, I think she's gonna do something bad. You turn your thoughts away from your parents and from Lord Worthing and from your impending wedding, and focus on the simpler thing in your life, the light, irreverent, forthy things, sweet and silken like the cream in your coffee. You think of how pretty your hair is, that your maid has styled it so neatly, and you think of how pleasant it is to observe the sun slowly sinking from the beyond in your window. You think of how you love it when your maid smiles, and how you love it all the more when she laughs. And you think on how she almost certainly let you win the game of whist, through perhaps you others to command upon it. She is your maid after all. It is in her job to make you happy. It is if she let you win in cards, she only doing her job, though it does rankle. You cannot help but wonder as you fan your axes and your queens and your kings across your second shit. Whatever you made would be seconded to lose to you, were you so familiar in social status. There is something affected about the way the maid gasps when, for the third time in a row, she finds herself bested, sometime which rings hollow in the way she widens her eyes. She is putting it on. You know that well. This is one-woman play, a performance the maid has perfected for your sake. She knows as role well, and she acts in with finesse, so much you almost wonder whether you ought to present her with a bouquet of flowers for her effort. But part of you wished that she would not defer to you so. If your maid cares for you as much as she claims, why can she not be honest with you? If you were both maids sitting together in the subterranean kitchen, you doubt the maid would be so precious about the way she plays her card. She would not make such a production either over each of your victories which you rather fancies are not hard-earned. You know that she is trying to bluster your ego, but you wish she wouldn't. It creates a curious distance between the pair of you, a distance which itches, like a parade of ants across your skin. Enough, you want to tell her, is enough. If you really are my friend, why don't you act like it? Why can't you let me lose for once? We both know you're better at cards game than I am. You're much more cunning. What is the point in all of this deception? I thought that you at least could be honest with me. You long to tell her this and more. But the words, as always, do not come like a mercury trap inside a glass thermometer. Your words cannot escape. They have nowhere to go. You swallow them instead. You smile at your maid. You wish her better luck next time, and she loses for the third time in a row. Though you know, that she lost on purpose. She did it to make you happy. Yet her losses only make you feel the distance between you and her so keenly. Dark, ugly thought being to fill your head, just like storm's cloud. But the moon's rays fill your room with gentle light, and it scatters your ungrateful, indignant music before they have the chance to sour. You should not be so cruel to your maid. You chastise yourself with an admonishing pinch to the inside of your thigh. She is your only ally in this world of wolves, the only one who does not wish to devour you. Without her, you would be all alone. You repeat this to yourself like a mantra as your maid announces the end of your card game. It is late, she said, and it is time to sleep. You must go to bed. There will be ample opportunities to merriment come to the morn. Now, let me prepare you for bed. Your maid said, her voice painfully sing a song. Which nightgown would you like to wear tonight, my lady? Yes, so many lovely pieces in your wardrobe. You're rather spoiled for a choice. There is a pale green poplin and a sheer's clean silk. Though I'm red and fond of the pale pink muslin, it suits you perfectly. Oh, and the maid exclaimed, skimming the ground in the wardrobe. When I look on all of your lovely clothes and hang up like this, it does make me feel somewhere jealous. I know it's not becoming emotion for a maid such as myself, and yet... The maid's voice trailed off and somewhat abashed she smiles. Well, never mind, let us get you dressed, shall we? She speaks lightly, yet she cannot fully mask the envy which pulsated beneath her words. Her jealousy infested her, just like thermatites teeming within the walls of a house. Her face practically pulsates from it, seemingly to expand, but you do not mind that. You are glad that your maid trusts you enough to show you this ugly emotion of her. You are glad that she trusts you enough to be envious. It is almost enough to make up for all the games of whist which she willingly loses among, but not quite. Your maid helps you with your nightglow. You are so weak that you can scarce manage your buttons on your own, and then she lays you down. Gently she runs her fingers through your hair, her touch reassuring cool against your flushed, feverish brow. She dips her head, and smiling she skims her lips against your forehead. It will be all right, my lady, she tells you in a voice so gentle it could make the angels themselves weep. You will be all right, I promise. She soothes you to sleep thus, with talks of paradise on the hearth, of promises that you never suffer again so long as you stay by her side. She is so nice, or maybe too nice. We still have 10 minutes of reading, guys. And as your eyelids fall shut, you find yourself believing her. Your indignation over this false game of whist soon scatter, like leaves on a tree come the advent of the winter. You began to doze and to dream, and as sleep captured you, you even begin to wonder why you were so upset to begin with. Why does it matter if your maid lets you win against her during whist? She only does it because she cares. Your maid's caring is apparently upon her face, written in every single furrow upon her brow, and inside every single shadow. You see the depths of your maid as an affection in person the following morns, when she enters your chamber to wake you. You sip at your cup of tea, as per the custom, though the tea has not been wholly agreeable as of late. There is an unpleasant earthly taste to it, accompanied by a peculiar bitterness which lingers on your tongue long after swallowing. I do think that the maid is poisoning the girl. That's why she is so weak. She is poisoning the girl with a weak poison that, if perpetrated for many days, make the person die eventually. This must be the strange herbs your maid has been buying for his Dr. Godwin. You cannot say it like them very much, but perhaps it is an acquired taste. Oh no, believe me, it must be poison. You force yourself to swallow, in any case, not wanting to displease your maid, even if parts of you wonders whether your roles have not become curiously reversed. Surely you, as a young lady, should not care so much about a maid's feelings. You know, if your parents were aware of your feelings, they would castigate you from there. but your parents have never bothered to trouble themselves with you more than is strictly necessary. Perhaps you are behind unduly paranoid, worrying about what they might think, when they ever spared you any consideration. Your condition has been deteriorating by the day, yet still they do not bother to check on you. You cannot remember the last time you even spoke to your mother. Is it any wonder then you wouldn't turn your maid for comfort? She is no doctor, but at least she is trying to helping you. With her herbal teas and the cool flannels she used to wipe down your fevered brows, now she is poisoning you, believe me. Your maid has always been good to you, but she seems to be in something of a curious mood this morning. She paces back and forth in your bedchamber, looking rather like a caged animal. Her arms are held stiffly in her side, just like a soldier, and her fingers are tightly clenched with such a force that her fingernails scrape against the tender inside of her palm. She wanders to and fro, the hem of her dark service dress swinging about her ankles, and as she pays, she issues under her breath. Though she is speaking softly, the sound is harsh, the verbal equivalent of a scouring brush. You set your cup of tea on one side, back on its patterned saucers once you have drained it. Then you sit up a little straighten in your bed and crane your neck trying to listen. You look at your maid askance, and as you do, you think you catch a fragment of her dark and unruly muttering. How could she? Your maid hisses, wearing a hole in the carpet with her continued pacing. How could she? How could she? Your maid inhales. There is an uncomfortable pause, and then, that bitch! When I see her again, I'll gorge her eyes out. I'll bash her goddamn head in. The rancid, evil, heartless bitch! You stared at your maid mutely, wide-eyed, not knowing what to say, not knowing what to do. You do not know what a bitch is beyond a female dog, yet you get the distinct feeling that is not what your maid is talking about. Nobody could ever accuse you, after all, of being unintelligent nor unobservant. You know that something is seriously wrong, but you know not what something is. Your maid is angrier than you ever know anybody to be before, angrier than you ever know anybody could be. You survey her from the safety of your bed, Percy by your side, and you shiver though your maid is not entirely devoid of awareness. She notices after a pause as you shrink away from her, and her expression softens. She turns to you, her expression newly gentle. Though even behind that, you can sense that her displeasure is churning, as she says, "Oh, I do beg your pardon, my lady. I apologize if I made you uncomfortable." I'm able to catch this team, so happy. Yeah, but you came at the very end of the stream. We have 3 minutes left, so you can catch back the stream in the playlist of this game. This game is called My Glasses Heart in Your Hand, so you can catch it back, and eventually, if you do smash the bell button, you will know when I am online and play games, okay? She did make you feel uncomfortable, but you tell her not to mind it, that it doesn't matter. This is what you tell everybody if they make you uneasy. Not that people often ask. There's never much seems to care about your opinion, which is why you always said that you don't mind. You know that this way it wouldn't hurt less when you inevitably discover that they do not mind if you mind. that they do not care. 15 minutes? No, it's not 15 minutes, it's 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Because we do just 1 hour and I spend actually 2 minutes. 58 minutes, so yeah, it's gonna be ending pretty soon. It is better to feign that you do not mind that to be upfront with your feelings, especially when you know that you will be greeted with apathy both ways. This is how you have been raised. It is what you have come to know, but something doesn't quite right about all of this. You cannot help but feel that you shouldn't lie to your maid like this, not about your feelings. You shouldn't need to. But your maid seems reassured by your words nonetheless. She seems not to realize that you are not telling the truth, or if she does not upbraid you. Instead, she smiled as she said, "Thank you, my lady. I knew I couldn't count on you to be understanding. You've always been so good and so gracious, not like you're a fucking ugly bitch hag of a mother." Okay, so you were talking about the mother before. Your maid's short, sharp words take you by surprise once more, and again you blink. You look at her wide eyes and ask, your voice trembling, "What happened? What did your mother do?" "She did nothing." That's the worst things all about all this. I tried to tell her earlier, when I paused by the parlour, that you did not wish to marry Lord Worthing, that you were having a second thought about the whole business, but she didn't listen. She told no ordered me to be silent. No ordered me to be silent. She said she didn't want to hear my opinions on the matter. Yes, that's what she called it. She said it was a matter. You may say spitting vinegar, as through your future was nothing more than trifling than a bill from the haberdasher. She didn't care threepence about what I had to say, and she didn't seem to care about you either. She completely ignores me, as though I've not been with you for years. I've always known what your mother is a selfish harridan, but to dismiss me so truthfully, I was so upset. I saw red. I had half minded to pick up the poker from the fireplace and... You imagine that you may means to go on working herself up into a ladder, but here she pauses. She catches your eyes, and perhaps she sees how uneasy her bluster has made you. You cannot read your maid's mind, so you are not sure what entirely she is thinking. She killed the mother. She killed the mother because she cared too much about us. Even in a way that is mostly like how can I describe it? I do not find the English word, but like very pathologic. Oh, my poor mistress, I am so sorry, carrying on like this. You needn't hear this. It is not like you've done anything wrong, but you are certain that your maid is thinking of you. That is why she is so upset. She is doing this for your benefit, working herself up into a fury over your own inevitable fate. She knows that you do not want to marry, though you have been unable to express as much. You were always taught that women are like small children, to be seen and not heard. And with that, guys, we conclude today reading of the night. Let me see how can I actually save this. Yes, there we go. Next time we will continue with My Glass Heart in Your Hand. So, as usually, I do hope that you like this type of content. You can use it as a podcast to sleep or whatever you want. It does help me to improve my English pronunciation and also to learn new words, as you can see. But perhaps it is not the best content, Nobody really likes this type of content, but I'm still gonna do it here and there, okay, as an extra live, okay, so I can improve my English and you can have a different type of content. So I do hope that you actually like it, okay. So as usual, guys, thank you for coming, thank you for keeping company. We see each other next time with the next live. Have a good night to all of you. Bye bye.